With that, I'd like to introduce Governor Perry, longest-serving governor of the state of Texas.
Mr. Chairman, thank you, and to each of you, thank you for coming. This is a historic moment, and many of you I've had the privilege to work with for a long time. Gene, you and I in the House of Representatives back some 20 plus, almost 30 years ago. Sheila, 20 years worth of working with you. And Mr. Chairman, I cannot think of an individual who I would rather have sitting in the chair of Homeland Security than yourself, because of your background, because of who you are, your passion. And Kay, I want to say to you in particular, thank you for leading the Speaker's Working Group on a Humanitarian Crisis on the southern border. And sometimes the public doesn't think we work together too well. I might have been critical of Washington a time or two. And, but the fact is, this is an opportunity for us as Americans, but not as Democrats or Republicans, but as Americans, to deal with an issue that the world is watching. And again, I just want to say thank you in a very heartfelt way for coming to the border of Texas, not only to see this humanitarian crisis that faces us, but also to find the solutions. And Senator Hinojosa and I have had the privilege to work together for some 30 plus years and to find solutions. And we play on a different team on the political side of things, but we have worked together so many times to find solutions to challenges that face us as a state. And that's how I look at this one, is working with you as our federal partners and finding ways and solutions. And let's make no mistake about it. This is there's more than one crisis happening on the U.S. border. The first, as has been very eloquently on display here in just the first two speakers, is a humanitarian crisis. This is a, Michael, as you and Sheila, as you all have seen yourselves, just the power of this, of what's going on, of this growing number of individuals who are crossing our border illegally, and so many of them are children. And last week, I too was here at the MCALLEN facility, and Kevin took us through, and we saw these children are being housed while they await action by Washington. And whether it's the right decision from my perspective to immediately deport them, or the short-sighted and tragic decision to essentially turn them loose in the United States, some may think by allowing them to stay here that it's a more humane option, and I assure you it's not. And let me share with you why I think that. Nobody's doing any of these children the slightest favor by delaying a rapid return to their countries of origin, which in many cases is not Mexico. Allowing them to remain here will only encourage the next group of individuals to undertake this very, very dangerous and life-threatening journey. And those who come must be sent back to demonstrate in no uncertain terms that risking your lives on the top of those trains in the ways that they are coming here, it's not worth that. Even those who have survived this very treacherous journey are still at risk. We've already had one confirmed case of H1N1. David Lakey, Dr. Lakey, can address that if you need some more information about that. And we have been informed by our federal partners of 2 additional cases of type A influenza that are likely to be H1N1, in addition to reports of other illnesses and diseases that you all have read about. This second crisis that's going on this border is one of national security. The rapid influx of illegal immigration has strained the Border Patrol and the resources that they have and that we have put on ourselves as a state. And frankly, they're already insufficient for the task at hand. Officials who should be guarding the border are dealing with the overflow instead of fulfilling their primary task. So as a result, the border between the U.S. and Mexico is less secure today than any time in the recent past, which is exactly the reason that the Lieutenant Governor, the Speaker, and I, and the members of the legislature ordered this additional surge that Director McCraw is overseeing, as well as John Nichols with the National Guard. We know that the drug cartels and these transnational gangs are already seeking to take advantage of the situation. They're attempting to circumvent security and spread this pain and suffering on both sides of the border through their criminal activities. We're also in danger at the hands of those who might be slipping through from countries who have known terrorist ties. A wide range of potential threats that are facing us from abroad. This is not the time to be distracted by something else. That's why Texas has taken the steps to supplement its law enforcement operations along the border. Currently, we are directing an additional $1.3 million over and above what we've already put into place. I might add, this is in addition to $500 million that the state of Texas has already expended on border security since 2005. This is not a new issue for us. Our current operations include increased DPS aircraft patrols, maritime operations, utilization of the Ranger recon teams. These are folks who are very quickly able to respond to areas where suspected activity is taking place. Madam Jackson-Lee, I readily and welcome the funding President Obama has publicly announced. But I also ask the following things of the federal government. First, increase the Texas National Guard units that are involved in border security operations. That includes, and Kay, you and I have worked together to keep some aviation assets here in the state because we know how important those are, but to keep those Lakota UH-72 aircraft in Texas in this operation. Second, if the U.S. Border Patrol is going to release illegal immigrants into our communities to await a court date, every one of them needs to be medically screened to ensure their health and also the health of our citizens as well. Third, Texas needs to be reimbursed for the $500 million plus that we've spent securing the border over the past decade. We have been fulfilling a federal responsibility, and the hardworking people of the state of Texas shouldn't have to shoulder that cost by themselves. And finally, my message to President Obama is to secure this border, Mr. President. Finally, address this issue and secure this border. Invest sufficient resources to put an adequate number of Border Patrol agents on the ground permanently. Utilize existing technology, including drones and other assets that we know. We know how to do this. Steve McCraw can share with you how to secure that border, because we've done it before. So again, I want to say thank you to each of you for loving your country and your respective states in your service in the United States Congress. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Governor. We appreciate your efforts, your leadership. The state of Texas has stood up where I think the federal government has failed in this border security effort. I do think with the crisis comes a call to action. And so I agree with you. Now is the time. Now is the time to finally secure the border. We've been talking about this, Steve McCraw and I, many, many years. It's time to get it done. And I can't think of a better reason to do it.